haven't read anyone I regard as deeper than Jung. He's terrifying, truly terrifying. But here's one of the things that differentiates him from the typical self-help person. I really love this, is that he believes that the pathway to completion as a human being is through the embodiment of the monster.
Embodiment of the monster.
That's the discovery of the shadow. You see, so Jung didn't believe that you could be a good person until you realized your capacity for evil. I don't mean acted it out in the world.
But understand that it's possible.
Well, not only understand it, but then to bring it under your control. You see, because there's a big difference between someone who's naive and is a good person. They're naive, they're a good person because they can't not be. They're like a domesticated house cat. There's nothing, they don't even have the capacity to be bad. So there's no morality in that. The morality comes when you're a monster and you can control it. And that's the Jungian encounter with the shadow. So Jung said, for example, that the roots of the shadow go all the way down to hell. And what he meant by that is that, well, you can think about it literally, you can think about it metaphorically. We'll just think about it metaphorically. It's like, if you start to understand who you are, then you understand the Nazis. And who wants to understand the Nazis? You know, I can understand sex criminals. I can understand them. Right. I can understand Nazis. And the reason for that is because I can see that as an aspect of myself. Truly. But one of the things that's so interesting, and it's terrifying to realize that, which is why it's terrifying to realize the shadow, which is why people don't do it. It's no wonder they don't do it. You know, it's a horrible thing to realize that you're human and what being human means. Like angel, like Christ to Satan, that's the human being. And you might say, well, those aren't real. It's like, okay, well, they're figments of the imagination that the human race constructed to describe themselves. Fine. Does that make it less frightening? I don't think so. So, and it's not, it doesn't make it any less frightening if you take those two extremes seriously. And you might say, well, who's going to take the Christ extreme seriously? It's no problem, man. Dispense with it. You try getting rid of the other side. See how you do with that.
So, Jung's idea that you find so compelling was essentially that one has to understand their potential for horrific behavior, that it almost exists in all of us, that it's a facet of just the human experience. Well,
look, I know partly why you're so popular. It's because you're a monster. I mean, look, I watched what you did to the Kardashians on your and Jenner on your comedy show, man. You did this whole gargoyle thing. Yeah, you remember, you laugh. Yeah, see, you can even laugh about that. I mean, it was horrifying to behold. You were crouched up on the back of this chair like a...
It's horrifying to do.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't believe you did it.
Well, the problem with doing it is, this is going to sound fucked up, but while I'm doing it, I'm not thinking I'm doing a comedy sketch. This is what's fucked up about it. While I'm crouched there, I'm thinking like a demon. Like, that's the reason why I do it that way. Like, and the reason why I do it like, I'm very flexible, right? So it's one of the reasons why I do it in almost, because I want it to be in an almost... in a way that you don't imagine human beings moving, you know, that it's like it confuses the mind because it's not standard human movement. And then on top of that, the way I'm thinking, and this like explosive, like when he yells out nonsense, and I say he because I don't think of it as me. I really think it sounds so pretentious, but while I'm doing that, my brain goes into another place. No, it's really.
Well, you can't do that unless you're a monster.
It's a
but it's also
bit.
The thing. See, because
I'm very happy when I retired it. By the way.
Oh yeah, I was really quite taken. I was very impressed by it. I mean, I thought it was hilarious to begin with, but the fact that you would go there, I thought that was really interesting. And comedians are like that because they go into dark places. They're tricksters. They're a mediator between the normal world and the world of the gods. They're tricksters. So it was very funny to watch you do that. And I wondered how far you would let yourself get into it. But I think part of the reason that you're appealing to people, if you don't mind me saying this, you know, I'm not trying to be forward particularly, but I thought about it a lot, is that you're a tough guy and you tell the truth. But it's both of those together that's what's doing it, because you know, people don't look at you and and think like holier than thou preacher. That isn't what they think. They think tough guy who's trying to figure things out. Like, right on. That's good. You're a good figure for the times. Because this whole war against the phallogocentrism, you know, calls forward people who are like you, if we're lucky. And those are guys who have this warrior end, because, you know, you're a fighter. So, and if you're going to be a fighter, you have to want to win. And you have to want to hurt people. I mean, not for the sake of hurting them. That's what makes you different than an evil person. But you have to have that capacity. You have to develop that. And, you know, that's the step on the way to enlightenment, weirdly enough, because that isn't what people think.